Alright, hello, welcome. We are the recorded. Regarding the overexertion for spellcasting, um, I believe at the time I had it as a concentration save. Save check. In this case, for concentration, it's the same thing. It's old terminology, as people were saying. Um, but the way overexertion's been working, it's been set up as a Constitution ability check.
Okay.
So we could probably change that. Keep things on the same page.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it came up last night in my game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would do it.
But again, that's just more growing pains. Get it ironed out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Apparently, I need to take my allergy meds, but I'll do that in a second. So I've done some updates with the Seeker's Hall. I am really close to finishing the structures document. But that's not really anything to drop right now. But for the Seeker's Hall, I wanted some people's opinions. See if some more neat things to be added, if I should tweak some of the rule sets, anything of that nature, and if all seems good, we can release it.
Was there anything written up on it other than the actual forum channel itself?
So if you go to the Seekers Guild, you should see the post guidelines, and that will tell you what's the actual rule set. And then the sneezes. And then the Seekers Hall does have a bit more of like flavorful text, but it does have technical rules in there too. So, big thing is Seekers Hall, trade cannot occur. It's not a way to just skip meeting up with people and giving them stuff. Because magic is also not allowed in the premises. Things like bonds with others and abilities that might be magical in nature, they just don't work in the area. Basically, think of the Seekers Hall as just a giant extra-dimensional space, like a magnificent mansion.
Like the Yawning Portal,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. And because of this, I've set up the Seekers Hall to be in slow mode, so you can only post once per 6 hours. You can send messages in posts, so new form posts, once per minute. So it's. I feel like that's going to be annoying enough where people can RP here, because it's once a minute's not too bad. I could lower that if people think I should, the once per minute or the 6 hours thing, or both. But as a baseline guide, I think that will also still encourage people to send out messages, still to also send out notice board posts, things of that nature. There's also an entrance fee, just 10 GP. They posted player trading, nothing too fancy. And outside of that, the channel itself is like any forum post, besides like the initial posting, which can be an out of character stuff, should still be in character. So they should post an exit post where they're previously located. They should post an exit post if they're leaving the Seekers Hall. Any conversations in the Seekers Hall should follow RP etiquette rules as normal. All that good stuff. Additionally, for the Seekers Hall post, which is just like the general common area, if people want to just head up there and do the common area, that's also technically an RP channel, as it's not full on just a here's a rule channels because they ran out of room to post rules and post guidelines. That one has some rules listing there as well. Big one being PvP is just outright ban anyone who does start shit, whether that be things such as just egging someone on so much that they do make an attack roll, or if someone does just make an attack roll, they are immediately banished. Because it's an extra dimensional space, it's really easy to do that. And then they're also banned for it until the next upkeep phase.
Seems reasonable.
And then this just goes into like how the tax system works. So like if you're doing things that you're like, hey, I'm a merchant, I want to meet up with like other merchants or something like that, form caravans, and whatever you want to do, you can put a trade tag on it. You're looking for other adventurers or other civilians to join up with, to like travel to a new region, travel tag, research tag. There's a bunch of different tags, and it goes into what you might want to do with those tags. And then that's just talks a little briefly about the different regions as well, but that's pretty much it. And then the other one is the example of a group post I made, which is a initial posting that's purely out of character, and then my initial RP arrival post. So this is very much out of character, just getting the things started, which is not even at all related to the arrival post that I posted, so I can probably just edit it, being like, since I called the dude, I don't remember what I called the dude, where I'm trying to read it real quick. Lazarus. I have Lazarus. I'd probably just say player Lazarus of our Logos looking for, like 4 adventurers and 1 civilian to band together. And then the ideals of this band would be wealth, acquisition, or Logos focus. So for his particular description, I'd probably say monster hunting. But,
On a related note, I've fully updated the entire RP etiquette document. I still need to do another update to add in pinging guides, but it should be easier to navigate now and also includes definitions on locks.
Nice.
Specifically for the staff meeting today, would like feedback on the locks because I've been working off of our original vote plus how we've been running things currently, but if anything would work better otherwise let me know.
Yeah, give it a look over. Yeah, outside of that, it's just initial RP post. I do think there is a little issue with my RP post that I realized after the fact, and that was me stabbing a dagger through my notice board missive. That might be considered trading, so I want people's thoughts on it if I should change that. So actually giving out an item, it's leaving an item, technically. But, yeah. It also just
Well,
flavor.
You're just using something to hold the flyer up, but you're not.
Yeah, it's also
trading per se.
But it's also holding the flyer there, which is another item that I'm leaving, which is technically a message. So if one were to use the mail system, that could be a way around it. But again, you have to spend 10 GP to get into the hall, and you have to wait a minute to post anything. You could just have like if anything's posted here, the posts fade away after X amount of time or something like that. So like if you're not actively in the region, you show up, that missive would fade the next day. That's my only concern I've seen with the RP post I made. The rest is just RP flavor text and stuff. As an example for people to follow suit with. Also, if anyone wants to use that NPC that I randomly made up for some reason, feel free. Yeah, I read through that one. I have not read through some of the more recent posts, but that was one of the initial things that started up the idea for the Seeker's Hall, as well as the other one that was related towards like adventuring companies. It has been a bit since I read it. Specifically, I think I last read it like 3 weeks ago because when it was posted. So, but what is the idea specifically? The large enough fee? Like, did they have an example fee that they were suggesting? Oh, and can you drop the link legacy for that so we can look it over after? Just for ease. Thank you.
Yeah, the formatting on this is really good legacy.
But yeah, any adjustments, things of note for the Secret Hall? Or are we good just to launch it?
I think it's good.
I'm just mostly waiting for Fritz because they are talking about the fee and whatnot. Basically, yes. Essentially, it's the adventurers, civilians, whatever, physically going into the guild hall, or at least representation of it, because there's guild halls all across the world. But this is just a extra dimensional space that everyone, regardless of region, can go to. And it is considered a teleportation effect to get there, using your guild sigil, or as a civilian, just using it like a way shrine or something like that. So it does take an hour, which I really should put in the listing. It technically takes 1 hour of travel. Yeah, I'll do that in a second. Essentially. Let's see here, reading Fritz's post. That could work. It being only visible across multiple or across a single region could be an issue though, and that's because I don't know if that's an option we can actually trigger on forum posts. I know we can do that for channels where the entire channel can only be seen by X region, but for a forum post, I'm not sure that's possible. Yeah, I mean, it being a hub area is also why I've made it slow mode, so it will discourage it being a hub. Because, I mean, you have to wait a minute to post anything. It could make that even longer, too. It's not really easy for RP to do.
Yeah, I think longer time between posts might be required to avoid it being a hub, just because, honestly, when I'm writing up a post, it takes me more than a minute to write it anyway. So
Fair. So maybe like 5 minutes or something like that?
yeah,
I mean, the initial posting of a forum post is 6 hours. But I'm talking about like replies to a forum post. Which 6 hours is. I mean, it's very similar to that in nature. But we also have notice boards themselves, which are regional overviews and things like that. which I've also probably going to be lowering the cost a little bit of notice boards, just because this will somewhat butt heads with that particular system. I want to make notice boards a bit more accessible. The primary goal of this is for people to be able to meet up without having to like share their wares, or share, not really the wares, but the idea that they can provide a resource for other players. Whether that be adventurers wanting to meet up to join up in statics, or if that is civilians wanting to be like, hey, I can do this for you. The biggest issue I've been reading in some of the RP, like the suggestion box channels and the like, has been players saying essentially they have no RP reason to leave their channel, so why would they do this? But they can't really do what they want to do because they need to leave the channel to go talk with other people. So this particular thing would allow for such. They can just go there, give a little stoof, and then, think about their day. I mean, Civs have influence, what are you talking about? Yeah, definitely. It's true. Yeah. And regarding the players just talking to each other and trading and stuff that Zach posted, I know they're not in the call right now, but as mentioned, yeah, you can't trade. Trade is forbidden in the Seeker's Hall. Specifically because it's not really a physical manifestation of your body. And because extra dimensional rules saying you can't. Essentially, there's a reason why I have like magic doesn't work and combat or trading doesn't work either, because you're just in there to basically let people know that you exist, and to make it easier for companies to give a company post as an example and then discuss in their company post. Whether that's going to be super slow mode or not, it might annoy them to a point where they just like, yeah, let's meet up in this location and then talk there. So if maybe I change it to like 10 minutes for the responses instead of what minute. Yeah.
So it's basically there's like astral projection.
Yeah.
They show up like, hey, I'm here, but I'm not here. It's Schrodinger's character.
Yeah. People can go in and acquire, and if like the person's not there to respond, then they can just, fuck off and go to the location. Which is why I had that initial idea of posting the notice board so they still know that something's happening. But that kind of butts heads with notice boards, so I was iffy about it. Yeah. I mean, we could just merge notice boards with it, give Seeker's Hall the similar costs, make it cheaper as I was going to do, and then just have it be basically a notice board. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. Indeed. It would cover many of the issues there. Yes. Yes. Just responding to Legacy. I think if I replace, like, swap the costs, where notice boards are now, like 10 GP, whatnot, and then Seeker Hall costs, influence, and GP, I think that would work well. And then we can keep both. Because, like, notice boards would still have some purpose, I feel, because they're not purely, I go here, I sit down, IRP. Notice boards are, I post a letter on a giant notice board, people can read it. But if, I mean, we can just also combine the two. But, yeah. Like, fully combine them, that is. I mean, I feel like that would be, as you were saying, definitely a way later in the future subject, but it'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Honestly, I would like to have this be transferred to a browser so we can do full on RuneScape style running around the world, but that's going to require me to 3D model my world, which technically I've done somewhat of. I'll be continuing to do some more. But that's future stuff that's not really relevant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have another in tech helping out, but they're more helping out with like character sheet, looking over and stuff like that. Yes. Pretty much what you're saying there, Fritz. That's kind of what I'm looking for. What I imagine, and then people can go in there and actually RP, and then decide to meet up properly.
If we're going to have the secret guild thing, is there really a point to having a mail system?
Trading for delivering of objects. And the mail system also heavily goes into divinity as well. That's the main purpose of it. It's like the letters of I can't remember the boss's name. Yeah.
God FedExed me a silver dagger.
I mean, the other portion of the mail system won't have too much of a reason for it, considering you can just spend 1 hour of downtime and go into the Seekers Guild. There you go. Which, for full context, that is a cost. Because, again, you have to physically go there, which requires teleportation. Teleportation takes an hour. So if that wasn't clear, it's a thing. So mail would still have some purpose, especially since the mail system that I've been working on involves hirelings, where you can just hire someone to do it for you. Or, you pay an actual player to do it. But hirelings. Yeah. Mail is private compared to Seekers Hall, which is just outright public. You can't post a private Seekers Guild. Have some like Amazon, FedEx tracking labels.
Well, as long as you're not UPS, because they won't ever knock on the door. Unless you want to be UPS.
We attempted to deliver your package, but unfortunately you weren't there. So we delivered it to Hell instead.
Has a picture
Okay.
showing the a customer literally on the door of the steps.
Followed by the the delivery guy like hanging out with the devil with the package.
Yeah. That's why I just made it a base 10 GP. But I think I edit the wording of Seeker's Hall, so it's clear that it costs 10 GP, or probably more likely the cost for notice boards. So notice boards still have a purpose, and then change notice boards to be a bit cheaper. Make clear that going to Seeker's Hall does cost 1 hour of downtime, because it is a teleportation effect. And update some of the other wording in it to make it clear that you are not physically present. It's more of an astral projection. I don't know if we can archive it though. I don't know if that's an option. Like, do an automatic archival. I know we can physically archive things. Well, yeah, no. If they are doing mail system, or if they're doing anything along the road, like being a merchant, they're doing a caravan, trying to go from one region to another region, and we have an event where there's bandits on the road. Hey, look, there's bandits on the road, and you're delivering something. There's a very possible chance that you will encounter these bandits. Or if players are trying to prevent a message from being delivered, it's an NPC. That NPC's pretty squish-tastic. They're probably going to get caught and murdered. They might escape, considering what you pay for. Or if you pay for a player, yeah, they have a better chance of surviving. That goes into the mail system I'm working on, though, so.
Okay, so do those 3 categories look about right? Hall, player mail, NPC mail.
What was the first one?
Divinity, I believe.
Oh, Hall. Okay, yeah. I would say the majority of the Seeker's Hall, or the notice boards, has been like covered by the Seeker's Hall, but we should probably still have a version of it available. So, notice board, Seeker's Hall, player mail, NPC mail, and then fifth option, yeah, notice board for more mundane, low tech stuff. Then a fifth option for divine mail, which is still being worked on. Just so it's clear that that is something that we are still working on.
NPC mail is divine mail,
Gotcha.
just including it in the list.
Gotcha.
Still whip.
Okay. And yeah, no, that's good. Look, man, if they're gonna spend a hour of their downtime, uh, probably some influence and GP to post something that's memey, be my guest. They're wasting their own resources at this point.
So for the player mail system, I assume we're gonna do it semi-anonymous. Or do you think we can get a simple messaging bot set up for Syrik?
I think we can get a simple
Don't know
messaging
about
bot.
hosting costs and the like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can do a messaging bot. I'm pretty sure Dino itself has some form of mail system we can use. Just a custom command for it. Yeah. Technically, we can also implement the money that every player has into Dino, I'm pretty sure, and then just have things automated in that regard, so they spend their currency, and this is all theoretical. I've been doing some thoughts on it, and like, if we were to tie in-game currency as like a role, which automatically updates via Dino, there is a way for us to have players spend that currency to do certain actions, such as using the command to do a mail delivery, or, you know, what and whatnot. I haven't looked at it too in depth, but I know it's theoretically possible.
And the problem is it also requires everyone to store the gold the same way in the proper way.
Yeah.
I've looked at a couple of character sheets. There are definitely some people who are just tracking gold as an inventory item rather than in the
Yep.
gold.
To be
area.
fair, I think that's probably because of me making the sheets with my 4K monitor. So for me, everything looks normal, but for people who might be on like a 1080p, you probably can't even see the gold section.
You just scroll down.
So it's not just
Like,
you don't have to scroll to the
it's not a
right.
width problem for me anyway. I'm on a 1080p and it shows up
Okay.
fine. So
Okay.
it's not a huge deal, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm just saying that that's a potential problem. People will not.
I mean, once I deliver everyone's new sheets, which I have not done yet, also people are feel free to do that yourselves if you want to just copy the thing. Wait, actually, I just remembered I was going to add some new classes because I was going to add the class in Firehouse. I was going to add. Should I add Vampire to the listing of classes you can choose, or are we still not? Don't want to do that.
I mean, it's received basically 0 peer review, so and it's not going to be unlocked for a while. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not going to be unlocked for a while, but it might be a little too. Like, oh wait, I can play a vampire if you see this.
Yeah, Vampire does actually need some looking at. It has some stuff that even if we are playing in Syrik, it's kind of good.
Yeah.
What, like, really good. That one needs slight.
If only there was a way you
looking
could
at.
notify me of changes that need to be made, like writing a comment.
Every comment I'd put, you would just put, I'm going to drop the moon on Doliter. I don't want to hear shit from you.
All right, that's it. I'm dropping the moon on Dollar.
See,
Yeah.
but I did have someone play it, in a side game, and it was strong. I think it just needs slight tweaks here and there, and it's okay
Yeah,
to go. It just needs slight tweaks.
honestly, I mostly expected it to be on more of the weaker side because that's usually just how I make things.
Mhm.
But
Oh, look at you making a powerful class. Is it strong for like 5th edition or is it strong for Syrik 5th edition? There's a difference.
Most of the games are in are in Syrik.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with some slight altercations, but not like enough to where it's warranted that it's different. But
Yeah.
but absolutely, it just needs some slight tweaks so it's not so loaded, I guess would be the word.
Mm.
I don't know how to properly say it. It just needs slight tweaks and it should be okay.
Okay.
well, either DM me your notes on it or
Yeah.
something, so I can look into it.
Yeah. I mean, that could be something for like advertisements and the like. I think overall, very good stuff for that. I can implement those today before my game, and I can have the Seekers Guild launched and ready, so we can have it posted this week. Yeah. I'm also going to bring up your I did not. I thought I clicked on the link. I'm 99% sure I clicked on the link. Apparently I didn't. Click. There we go.
I believe you wanted to look at the suggestion board legacy.
They want to look at the etiquette first. But yeah. Alright, I'm going to bring up the... I'll put this on the side so I can keep Discord running at the same time, actually. There we go. Alright. So, looking over the updates to the RP etiquette, let's see. Yep, fairly basic introduction. It covers the good stuff. Very nice, very nice.
Oh, there was because this pertains to the lock stuff for the RP etiquette. When a player gets EXP from their DDTs, does inventory lock stop that? Because it's technically not an item they're getting.
No,
Because
it
this
would not
was
stop that.
because this was brought up last night too, because they were going to level up and some had EXP from DDTs, but they were inventory locked.
I
That would
mean,
probably be downtime lock.
Yeah, you can do that, but also the only way to level up is to take a long rest, so they would need the experience gain, and then in session, you'd have to give them a long rest to have them level up.
Yeah, right.
So, if you don't want them to level up, you just don't give them a long rest.
Say yes because if the GM wants to permit it, they can just temporarily release it. Or
Well,
we can just specify that the GM has that jurisdiction, but it's not inherent.
I said yes to it to give the XP because like it's not an item and it's not gold, so it doesn't count as the lock. But obviously, that's just on the spot judging, not
Yeah.
overall judging.
It's more that the lock represents them not being present to do that stuff.
No.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, they'll still need a long rest, but yeah.
Very good, very good. I'm just still reading through your info. I'm on 9 now. Your update. It's looking pretty good so far. Very well done. Very much appreciate.
I believe, Jokey, that one goes back to our original RP events thing where combat can get very hard to run without a grid given the way movement and stuff works. So PvP needed a battle map and any encounter needed a battle map to avoid any issues like someone not knowing exactly what to do or how things are being run.
Yeah, it's...
Two.
Most every rule was already there. I just cleaned up the wordings and split them into specific definitions or rewrote them.
And if it's just like an NPC encounter, you could do that through Theater of the Mind. It's encouraged you to do it through Battle Map. I mean, we have so many battle maps. Many of them are on the drive already. So if you're like, I need a road map, we have them. Just grab it real quick. It's easy clap. And if you don't know where they are, you can also just message me and I can give you the battle map.
That way we can avoid retcons.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right, glossary of terms. Yeah, no, very, very nice update to it. It's much cleaner, easier to read certain sections. Very good. Very good indeed. Yeah. All right. On my end of things, I do not see anything that needs to be tweaked or adjusted. It looks fantastic. So I think that one's good to just be like, yeah, we're good to go. Unless someone else has some input they would like to add.
This just for the RP etiquette stuff?
Yeah.
No, that's good.
All right. I think we can move on to the next section, which I believe is suggestion box.
This wasn't in the suggestion box, but it did just kind of come up midweek because of the clarification on haggling for only spending one downtime day. You know, basically the TLDR was people wanted people to still haggle with one downtime day, and there was a suggestion to make it so that you just get either additional attempts or bonus for shopping for further days. And I think part of the argument was is in session you can haggle within 10 minutes. Why can't you do it within one day?
That is a fair argument. Yeah, yeah. I'll update it. I think multiple attempts might get a little dicey. Because people just be like,
sure.
I think if we do it day 1, you have 1 attempt. Day 3, you have 2 attempts, and so on and so forth. So like it skips a day to get additional attempts. That way you're not just doing 2 days to get basically advantage.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have to be that generous. It could be like 6 days you get a second
Yeah.
attempt.
Something like that. I'll update it though.
Yeah, I think other than that, suggestion box is clear.
All right, all right. What are the forms that should be statused? bedroom one. What is the bedroom one? Embrace dueling roles. Sorcerer, increase the point cost, medium time zone. Language. Wrath, paladin. Bedroom, here we go. Oh, yeah, let me just... Doop. Yeah, I was already intending on making a smaller bedroom component, so yeah, I can just slap that on there. I actually think I already have it in the update. I mean, for the Hooked Anna, actually, I am intending to add new weapons to the weapon guide when I go over weapon updates, because I've done a huge overhaul to armor smithing at this point. It's insane. I'm probably going to get people's opinions when I'm at a point where I'm like, yeah, this is good to go. I'm almost there. Not quite, because I'm still doing a few minor tweaks. For new weapons, first they have to make a blueprint of it, and then they can make the weapon. So they give us in their initial crafting request a description of what weapon they're trying to make, or if they're making custom armor, what custom armor they're trying to make, whatever they might be doing, and then we send out, here's how long it takes to make, or if they know it, because they might very well know how long it'll take. We just confirm, hey, you spend this number of days to make it. Cool. There you go. Item's made. Because I'm sure if they're asking for a blueprint of something, they'll probably be able to hit the DC. Otherwise, if they can't hit the DC, just be like, no, you failed to make the blueprint. And then once the blueprint's made, they can make that item. Every single armor, weapon, item, everything of that nature has been made using the crafting system. So they're all within the balance rule set for both economy and gameplay balance. So I wouldn't worry too much about like, oh, I'm making this custom item, it's super overpowered. I mean, you might find some of those in like really high level play. But again, that's like an artifact level weapon or whatnot, so kind of expect something like that to be powerful. Yeah. Next, that needs to be marked as accepted or whatnot. It's basically accepted, yeah. Because that's pretty much what the Seeker's Hall is. Grand Exchange, yeah, pretty much the same thing as what we've accepted. For companies, parties, and clans, I'm going to mark that one as pending. Just because if I recall correctly, that one was talking about like adding specific roles for every new company, and that would be not feasible, just because we have a limited number of roles. But if it's not that, I'm marking it as pending so I can review it and make sure it is what I think it is. I feel you. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, for the posting the equipment guide rules and whatnot on different pages on Roll Anvil, that's already intended to be done. One of the updates I'm doing right now is making a giant market post, which is what started me working on the armor crafting rules update. Because that's every single crafting system is gonna be placed into that market, and you can just list items there. And then if you want to buy something, you already have what the item is. You can change its quality. You can change its, magical enchantments, X, Y, and Z to get the value of the item, and you don't have to do any math. It's just there for you. So,
Similar to what the one Google Doc is, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's an auction house so much as just the equipment guide on a spreadsheet. But if we want an auction house, that's something we could work on. But I've just been trying to put the equipment guide on a spreadsheet, so if I'm doing mass changes, like I need to change every single piece of item's cost. I've had to do this at least 10 times now. I can just go to the spreadsheet, click a few buttons, it'll do it for me. I then put it into the guide. But like I've changed how items are made so many times at this point. I've had to remake the guide so many times that it's become an issue. I'm like, I just need a spreadsheet so I can save me time in the future. Because like minor tweaks to what the DC might be, some minor changes to how crafting works. It's been a bit.
Speaking of crafting stuff, there is at least one downtime response that's looking for what looks like a custom enchant. I didn't know how to handle it. So.
They might be requesting to learn the enchantment. So I'm pretty sure I did direct people to go to crafting requests to make new enchantments or to research enchantments.
Just a crafting request. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll give it a look. What row is it on?
It is on. Let me find.
I mean, the Seekers Guild chat room is already thing that we approved. Okay, 311, cool.
Yeah. We're gonna put it in chat in case you need references.
Yeah. Alright, for Sculpt's Corpse being added to the Cleric spell list, the reasonings for and against are both valid. I think for the purposes of the spell, especially since Cleric is one of the classes that is so heavily tied to animation of undead. Like, Cleric and Wizard are the two classes that you, if you want to be a Mechamaster, you play one of these classes. I think I'm just going to add it. But if people are, like, vehemently against it, I can, have some more arguments about it first.
I feel like for that spell, just because I'm biased, I feel like I'd rather have that in a specific subclass domain of Cleric than just giving it to a Cleric spell list.
That's fair. I mean, like, Grave Cleric.
Yeah. Because, like, in my mind, when you have Clerics, like, sure, preserving the dead is what they do, but sculpting is, like, one of those things that I feel like just as a Cleric class itself would have infighting about. So I feel like having it tied to a subclass instead would be better.
Okay. Yeah. That's easy enough, though. I'll mark it as accepted, because I know that was one of the arguments in the posting, indicating that they would prefer it to be a subclass option. For the Mechanist suggestions, I have not read it fully. Some of them look pretty good, so I'm just going to mark it as pending. Ideas to simplify the crafting document, I'm going to mark that as pending, because I've not fully read it. Oh no, I have read it, because it's marked as accepted. Oh, look at me.
We
Passed.
we brought the Mechanist up one before, and you agreed on some of the stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because some of the suggestions were more for like how the players wanted the robot to not be a giant, robot and stuff, and giving them more options so they weren't pigeonholed into it.
Yeah. That's fair. Full-time DM pick 1 character slot. So this one is a bigger discussion. I feel like we should have next meeting, because I know people are a bit of a time limit, I'm pretty sure. But full DM being able to give their player slot essentially to another player. So like not as a DM, I don't use my character slot. I would be able to like be like, hey, you person over there, you have a character slot now. Is the suggestion as an example, but I feel like that can get to a greater discussion, so we can save that one for next week. So I'll just mark it right now for pending. It's already marked as pending. Cool. Yeah. Newspaper journalism, mark that was pending because I would like to give it another read because it's been a bit since I last read it. Which is why I have marked as unread. Oracle tweaks thoughts. That was already marked as pending. Cool. Find and simplify. That one's already actually marked as accepted. Should be because I've already going to be doing that. And cool. The rest are just ongoing lists that are going to be constantly posted for, so I don't need to do anything about that. Now that's all updated. Anything else people would like to bring up? Things to discuss? Things to note down?
We have Eldaria VP to spend, and Legacy is here.
Ooh. Well, before we do that, let me just stop the recording here and return the recording for that.